Imagine your phone vibrating at midnight. You pick it up, half dazed, expecting a random notification. Instead, you see, we have determined your death date, June 14th, 2048. Your mind goes silent. For a moment, you question if this is a bad joke or spam. But it's from an advanced AI health app you recently installed, one touted for its groundbreaking longevity predictions. You feel a chill work its way down your spine. Suddenly, every heartbeat, every inhale, feels more fragile than it did just seconds ago. This is the new frontier we now stand on. AI capable of peering into our future, predicting how long we have left, and possibly rewriting our relationship with life and death. It might sound like a sci-fi concept, but the foundations are already here. Insurance companies use AI-driven actuarial models to estimate lifespan for premiums. Hospitals tap into machine learning to gauge patient recovery odds after surgeries. There's an AI out of Google's DeepMind that's been known to outperform doctors in spotting certain life-threatening conditions, sometimes well in advance. Health tech startups like LifeQ collect oceans of data from wearables, heart rates, oxygen levels, sleep cycles. Then they combine that info with your diet, stress indicators, even your genetics. Feed all those variables into a neural network, and it can spit out probabilities about how many years you might have. The results are often disturbingly accurate. Let's steep deeper into the science. Imagine an AI sorting through billions of data points, everything from your genetic predisposition to cancer to the water quality in your neighborhood. It looks at your daily step count, your historical blood pressure logs, and even glanced emotional patterns from your social media. The AI runs all these factors through advanced machine learning algorithms. Random forests, gradient boosting, deep networks, searching for subtle correlations no human eye could spot. Perhaps it finds that people with a certain combination of gene markers and sleep irregularities have a drastically higher chance of heart failure by age 60. Or that living within a mile of a polluted highway could shorten your life by 3 years. By the time it's done crunching, the AI can produce an eerily precise mortality forecast. It's compelling technology, but also unnerving. If this AI nails your death date with, say, 85% confidence, how would you cope? Would you live in constant dread, ticking off days on a calendar? Or might you cast fear aside, determined to squeeze every drop of meaning from your remaining time? Perhaps some people would flip to the opposite extreme, giving in to a fatalistic behavior, spending recklessly, or ignoring medical advice because in their mind, the clock is already set. In that sense, the AI's prediction could become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Stress, anxiety, or reckless abandon might accelerate the demise it originally predicted. People might spiral into poor mental health, depressed that life's spontaneity is gone, replaced by a looming expiration date. It doesn't stop at personal decisions. Insurance companies might refine who gets coverage and at what premium. A person flagged as having a short runway might find themselves denied loans or job opportunities. Governments, at least theoretically, could harness such data to allocate health resources, deciding who might be more worth saving or investing in. Some fear a dystopia where you show a digital ID. The system instantly calculates your longevity score, and that number dictates social privileges. Meanwhile, criminals might exploit or weaponize these predictions for extortion. Imagine receiving a message. Our AI knows you are set to die next year. Pay up, or we'll leak that data to your employer. Surreal as it sounds, these are real ethical landmines in an era where data can be aggregated at a scale. But there's also a darker speculation, that simply knowing your probable death date locks you into a fate. This taps into deep existential questions. If you are told you have 10 years, does your subconscious sabotage your well-being around that mark? Or is it truly possible to outsmart the AI by radically changing your lifestyle, relocating to a different climate, undergoing new medical procedures? Does the AI recalculate your date each time you make a major life change? Or is the system so advanced that it already accounted for your likely strategies? This leads us into a nearly philosophical debate about free will versus determinism. Where does personal agency fit in if a machine has mapped out your life arc? Some psychologists argue that having knowledge of your estimated death date could be physiologically beneficial for certain individuals. They might find renewed focus, a drive to accomplish their bucket lists, or to reconcile broken relationships. But for others, the weight might be crushing. Clinical depression or panic disorders could spike if people feel their future is written in digital stone. The friction between helpful prevention and emotional distress is at the heart of this technology's moral dilemma. Further complicating matters is the notion that AI, with its inherent capacity to make data-driven decisions, might soon be used to decide who gets advanced medical treatments or organ transplants. If your predicted life expectancy is short, the AI could deem another patient more worthy of that resource. That scenario, though efficient from a pure resource allocation standpoint, treads dangerously close to the eugenics territory, where the machine said so becomes the final word on who lives and who dies. We'd be outsourcing moral judgment to an algorithm optimized for statistical outcomes. On a deeper philosophical level, if a machine can accurately forecast your death date, does that unravel the mystery that has always made life so precious? We cling to the unpredictability of existence as a form of hope. Tomorrow could bring any possibility. But if tomorrow is already labeled, does that drain life of its magic? Or perhaps it gives us a strangely comforting sense of closure, letting us plan our legacy with more clarity. People differ widely in how they react to finitude. Some might embrace it, others recoil in terror. Yet, we can't ignore the scientific promise behind it. This AI might not be infallible, but it can spotlight hidden health risks, triggering proactive checkups that save countless lives. If it says you're on track for cardiac problems at 55, you might overhaul your lifestyle at 30, escaping that grim future. As the AI improves, it might empower doctors with unprecedented prognostic tools, leading to preventative measures that revolutionize healthcare. In that sense, the death date might be a dramatic phrase for something more nuanced, a statistical probability that encourages us to act before it's too late. Still, the concept of the AI knows when you will die remains an unsettling frontier. We must ask if we're emotionally equipped for such knowledge. Historically, oracles and fortune tellers have existed in folklore, fueling intrigue about destiny, but never before has that prophecy been rooted in vast, precise data. Are we stepping into a modern era of fate by algorithm? And if so, how do we handle the psychological fallout? In the end, maybe the real lesson is not whether the AI is always right, but whether we can learn from its warnings without succumbing to fatalism. We can harness this technology to inspire better living, or we can let it become a grim countdown that saps joy from the present. The difference might lie in how governments regulate it, how doctors apply it, and how each of us personally decides to interpret what the AI says. Because in a world where an app might ping you with the day you'll die, the line between hope and despair will be dangerously thin. So I'll leave you with a question. Would you want to know your predicted death date? If yes, how would it shape your life? Would it push you to chase your dreams or anchor you in fear? If no, do you think ignorance of our mortality is part of what keeps us courageous and adaptable? We're facing a new era of knowledge, one that might illuminate more about ourselves than we ever wanted to see. Whether that knowledge is liberation or a heavy chain depends on us and the systems we allow to flourish. Let me know your thoughts. And if this topic stirred something within you, hit that like button, share it with a friend, or drop a comment about whether you dare consult an AI for your death date. Because in the end, the real power might not lie in the AI's prediction, but in how each of us chooses to live once we realize that time was never guaranteed.